Hello there, friends, and welcome back to more Final Fantasy VI. Last time, we escaped the Phantom Train and narrowly avoided a one-way trip to the afterlife. And today, we find ourselves on the other side of the Phantom Forest, attempting to find a new way to Narshe. We don't really have much to explore here. We have a cavern right here. So, we're definitely battered and beaten up after our battle with the Phantom Train itself, where Sabin decided to suplex the living physical embodiment of death. I guess it really isn't a clear explanation on what exactly the Phantom Train is, but I'm gonna go with that, because I think it's really cool. Here's Sabin's tent real quick. It's green and yellow. It's got a nice little, fist or something at the top there as its little, thing that's holding the pitch of the tent together. It's really neat. But yeah, I mean, this is all I pretty much have to say. Let's just keep moving forward. So we have arrived here at the cave to Barren Falls. Something I would highly, highly, highly recommend you do. If Shadow has stayed in your party this long, I would highly recommend you unequip everything that he's got. Because while I don't want to spoil anything directly, this is a point that you are guaranteed for Shadow to depart from your party after these events. So it's best to just take his stuff now and give it to your party members Sabin and Cayenne, as they can reap the benefits of it. Shadow's ninja gear can go on Sabin real quick as a nice piece of extra defense and agility, which is quite nice. Unfortunately, Cayenne can't really use anything from Shadow, as none of them can equip a kunai, and, I mean, the headpiece we had for him was the Plume Tat, which we have quite a bit of, but it's nice to see that Shadow will be remembered somehow through the ninja gear. But if we move up through the cavern to the Barren Falls, we arrive at one of my favorite pixel art renditions from this remaster. This must be Barren Falls. To the south of here lies the Veldt. 'Tis a wild and dangerous land, inhabited by all manner of ferocious beasts. But if we turn around and go back, the Empire will be waiting for us. The village of Moblitz lies on the eastern coast. If we can make it through the Veldt, we could head there. I have served my purpose. Shadow! Thanks for your help. Let's team up again sometime. And with Shadow gone, it's just these two. Dive into the falls? Why not? So, on our way down from the falls, we have multiple fights against a bunch of fish. Somehow they're swimming upstream. They must really want to eat us. This is a pretty simple segment. Just kind of spam Ore Cannon and Fang, or any of Cayenne's Bushidos, honestly, and you'll go through pretty easily. Most of these fishies aren't very strong, but if you somehow run low on HP, then use one of your party members to heal everyone up. As long as you have everyone in the back row, these fishies won't do too much damage to you. So there we go. Eventually, after a few rounds of enemies, we are going to have a special enemy. Thankfully, Bestiary is very easy to level up here. The Rhizopass, if I'm pronouncing that right, is a stronger fish of this waterfall. Does decent damage, but honestly, it isn't really worth anything. They do have access to Blizzard, but again, we're dealing so much damage right now that eventually they're just gonna go down. It gives this fish the boss treatment with the death animation and whatnot, but it really isn't worth that level of prestige. But there we go. We get no Guillory XP for this segment, but that's okay. We also get a remedy. A youth draped in monster hides, his eyes shining with a warm and gentle light. This young boy's name is Gao, or Ga, but I'll be going with Gao. Who are you? Oh, he seems a little apprehensive. I just wanted to let that music play for a little bit. Oh, the Velt's music's so good. But we'll have plenty of time to hear it later. But for right now, we're here in Moblitz. I want to go ahead and get our time here in this town. Oh, hello, you're in a hurry. Our time here in this town over before anything else. And I think a perfect place to begin is by talking to the person in the inn. Let's see here. Rooms are 100 gil per night. Wow, okay. So if we look at our map right here, we can see that there's only one item to get here in Moblitz, so we're going to be on the lookout for that, as we do not want to miss that. So, the Cayenne was mentioning something about the Velt that I want to go ahead and just briefly talk about before we go into detail about it later down the road. Cayenne mentioned that it is home to a variety of monsters. The Velt is the primary reason why the bestiary is so important, and why I've tried to fight as many enemies as possible. Without going into too much detail, you can actually refight every normal enemy in the game here in the Velt, and that's going to be very important for a reason we'll see later down the road. If we go into the weapon shop here, we can obtain a mithril knife, mithril sword, mithril claws, and kotetsu. Now, this is actually our first time visiting a shop without main party members in the actual party, but we can see that we can not only check to see if weapons are going to be a strict upgrade for characters like Terra, Log, or Edgar, but also whenever we get access to playing as them, as long as none of our current party members are equipping the gear, we can just immediately slot it onto them. We don't need to wait for Sabin and Cayenne to reunite with the other party members, so we can kind of future-proof other routes with other parties before we even play with them. Now, looking at here, the mithril knife is not worth it at all. We have the mithril sword, which is better for Terra, but she's not going to be using her physical attacks all that often, so this is probably not worth it. We have the mithril claws here for Sabin, but again, physical attacks are not really going to be his go-to, so this might not be worth it either. And the kotetsu, on the other hand, could be worth it for Cayenne, as physical attacks are a nice alternative for him, but because Fang, which is his main Bushido that I'm going to be using, is based off of his strength stat, that isn't really needed. However, if we go to the armor shop, let's look at this here. We have the buckler, heavy shield, which might not be a bad idea to grab, and then we get plumed hat, magus hat, bandana, iron helm, Kenpo-Ji, and the iron armor. So the iron helm wouldn't be a bad idea to grab for Cayenne here, as this is a decent defense increase. But I think right now what I'm going to do is grab... I already have one Magus hat, but I think I'm going to grab one more. Because Terra's going to be able to equip that. That'll increase her magic by 5. But I obviously haven't... Oh, I have equipped one already. Who has it equipped? I might be losing my mind. If we look at the plumed hat, nothing there. Bandana, we could give that... We could go ahead and buy that and give it to Locke whenever we get around to his story. And then let's go ahead and buy one iron helm for right now. I'll give that to Cayenne. In terms of the heavy shield, yeah, we'll go ahead and buy one for Cayenne. We can just do optimal here, and that'll give him everything we need. And then, yeah, Sabin's perfectly okay. Alright, there's our shopping done. We have some NPCs we need to talk to, though. Is it true that war has broken out? I got a letter saying it had. Don't look past the Phantom Force. Did you see the house on the far northern plains? That old man has lost his marbles. They say he threw out his own kid, thinking he was some kind of monster. Well, that's not good. We already met that guy. He seems to have his own kid problems, that's for sure. This region's known as the Veldt. Monsters migrate here from all over the world, so it can be quite dangerous outside of town. You never know what you might run into. You're doing my job for me. Yes, you, sir, look like you're in a rush. I'm going to stand in your way. Carrier pigeons are our only link to the outside world. Yes, and I'm assuming you're the delivery man, and I'm going to make your job unbelievably difficult by walking right in front of you. Okay, yeah, I've had my fun. When I was out hunting yesterday, I could have sworn I saw a kid running along with a pack of monsters. Wonder if it was just my overactive imagination. Who knows? Cute doggy. Can I pet? Yay! Going into the item shop here, we have dried meat, which is a new item that we haven't messed with. Cures an empty stomach. Okay. Potion, 10, sleeping bag. We know the gist here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and boost up some potions, as again, these are really our only way of healing right now, as we do not have Terra in our party who has access to cure. Okay, so oh wow, there's some busy activity over here. Hello. You have to be quiet. What for? The soldier inside this house is hurt real bad, so Mom says we have to keep our voices down. Oh, well, unfortunately you're telling that to Sabin and Cayenne, who probably will not be the two best people to keep that promise. A grievously injured soldier wandered into that village not too long ago. I dressed his wounds, but his condition doesn't seem to be improving. Those letters coming from the town of Miranda are the only things keeping him going. Okay, I guess, you're working on something here, buddy? Hello. We got another, person right here. Powerful ocean currents run through the Serpent Trench. Have you heard about them? No. I like how you can see the player character thing on the menu there moving. I don't know if that was intentional, if that's a bug, but I think it's interesting. But we can see that whatever the Serpent Trench is seems to link back to the northern part of this continent, which might be our way to Narshe. Hop into the current, and you'll be swept straight to Nicaea. Too bad our only diving helmet was stolen. Oh, okay. Well, we're starting to piece some puzzle pieces together here. Might be a decent way back to Narshe. But first things first, let's go ahead and take care of everything we've got here in Moblitz. Once again, we have the elixir within the clock, which might or might not be an alchemy reference, but I'm going to assume it is. But that's our one hidden item here in Moblitz. The rest of it is just shops. The entrance to the Serpent Trench lies within Crescent Mountain, near the southern tip of the continent. Okay, alright, so we're learning a little bit more about the Serpent Trench, but we're not really going to be messing with that just yet. I can send letters and packages to any corner of the world for you. Let me know if you need my services. Oh, well, that might come in handy. If we can at least get a message out to our allies, we might be able to warn them about stuff. Dwayne and Katarine are both 16. Oh, what a magical age. The springtime of love. I guess? I don't know. The relationships that I saw around my 16-year-old peers back in the day, most of them didn't end well. Okay. Alright, we'll leave you two alone, I guess. Welcome. So the relic shop doesn't really have anything all that interesting. The sprint shoes, which, again, I don't really think are worth it in this port of the game, but if you really want that extra movement speed, go right ahead. The white cape, though, +5 defense, +5 magic defense, and +10 to magic evasion. This ain't bad at all, and I actually am going to go ahead and invest in that. I don't know who I'm going to be putting that on right now, but I will be using it, for sure, 100%. That is a lot of money, though, so if you don't want to buy it right now, that is perfectly fine. You will have plenty of options to grab the White Cape at any point. The last house that we have is this one. One with the wounded soldier in it. Let's go say hi. I'm a soldier from Miranda. When our town fell to the Empire, I was forced to join the Imperial Army. I tried to flee rather than help them attack Doma, but they came after me. I barely escaped alive. Did you go through the Phantom Forest? If so, impressive. Now I can't even move. I'll never see Lola again. There's a letter on the desk. Would you be kind enough to bring it to me? Sure, why not? There are even more Imperial soldiers walking to the streets of Miranda these days, but things are peaceful otherwise. The flowers in the garden will soon bloom and announce the arrival of spring. How are you holding up? Your condition worries me to no end. I so wish that I could fly to your side and be with you. Please think only about getting better, and try not to push yourself too hard. Rest knowing that I spend every day thinking only of you and wishing I could see you. Lola. I'd like to write it back, but I don't even have the strength to pick up a pen. So this is actually fairly interesting. Final Fantasy VI doesn't really have a lot of what you would traditionally call a side quest, but this is actually one of them, as we can sort of play carrier pigeon to this, separated couple, thanks to the power of Moblitz's carrier pigeons. So if we go to this guy, do you want to send a letter to Lola for that injured soldier? We can pay 500 gil to post a letter to this injured soldier. Now, this side quest actually does require a little bit of gil, but if you pay the guy to send a letter to Lola who is currently in Miranda, I think. Oh yeah, that's right. Hang on. I was like, how do I get this to work? Oh, that's right. I have to leave Moblitz. Listen to the awesome Velt music for a brief moment. But basically, what you can do, losing my train of thought here, is that you can send letters to Lola from this injured soldier, and eventually you can get a response from Lola after you talk to shopkeepers, walk around, talk to other NPCs. Eventually, you will get a response in the injured soldier's house. Let's see if I did it right. Yes, I did it. Yay. Okay, cool. And you can read more letters from Lola to this soldier. I can't find your favorite record. I thought if I played it, it might feel like you were here with me again. I'll do anything for Lola. If only I could move. And basically what you can do is you can constantly send letters to Lola for the cost of 500 gil over and over and over again until a certain thing happens. But basically what we're going to do is that we're just going to constantly talk to NPCs, go around buildings, make sure that eventually this card is sent, this letter is sent, and we can finish the side quest. This is not something that you have to do immediately, but there is a time limit for this, where you cannot complete this after a certain point. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it, start it now, because not only can I finish it right now, but also the amount of gil that I'm going to put into this isn't really that big of a deal in this version, as we can just increase the amount of gil we get from fights anyways. Mother's taken ill, and we can't afford to buy medicine. If only we had some more potion. Let's see here. Yeah, he does not say anything new. If you are playing on a version that does not have the ability to increase your gil amount from battles, I would suggest holding off on this side quest right now. Maybe grab the White Cape, but don't invest your funds into anything more. We're gonna send another letter. I like talking to the pigeon. I don't think talking to the pigeon is required, but I like doing it anyways. I've kind of gotten to this loop here where I just talk to a shopkeeper, usually the armor shopkeeper, and then just immediately going back into the injured soldier's house and checking to see if there is a letter. This should work. You shouldn't have to do this too many more times. This is what, third time doing it? So let's talk to the soldier again. I haven't heard from you for some time now. I'm beginning to worry. We are sending letters to you, so I don't know what's the dealio here. Hey, you sending my letters? I hope so. So that's what, 2,000 gil now down the drain? Seems like it. I haven't been keeping track, but that seems about right. I think that's number 4, which is fine. We're doing this for a good cause. We're trying to keep a couple together that is currently under extreme stress due to a war. Sabin is a good person. Okay, so this should be round 4. And if we talk to this guy, we've got another letter. You mentioned a book in your last letter. Someday you'll have to let me read it. It's interesting to see how the Empire's actions have actually affected the lives of people around the world. This Moblitz is heavily isolated from most of the rest of the world. And still, the Empire's influence has found its way here in some form or fashion, even if it is an injured soldier that is from a conquered nation. I wish to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Please, accept this as a token of my appreciation. So yeah, after you finish a certain amount of letters, he will basically be like, okay, I'm glad that you've been sending letters, here's this for my as my appreciation. We obtained the Tintinnabulum. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. This relic, as that's what it is a collar with a small bell that rings as the wearer walks. Restores some HP with each step taken. So, this kind of acts as a small, like an automatic potion. So if I give it to Cayenne here, who currently has 148 HP out of 284. Let's take one step. That's one step. He gained, what is that? 8 HP from one step? Yeah. So we can basically just sprint, walk around this area, and he'll be immediately at full HP. The amount of HP you obtain from the Tintinnabulum is actually based on your stamina stat. So if you want to get more HP based on this, increase your stamina, and you'll get more of that. Honestly, this is something that can be easily abused in the Pixel Remaster versions of this game, as you can just turn off encounters and just walk around, even on the overworld, fully heal your entire team by changing out the relic every now and then bada bing bada boom, your whole team is healed, and you don't have to worry about potions or tents. I'll try not to abuse this, but I'm not going to make any promises. We talked to you. You came down from Barren Falls? Unbelievable. It's flowing even stronger than usual this year. No one's been able to get here lately. Yeah, we're just that good. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything there is to see here in Moblitz. But we've gotten a lot of interesting little story tidbits. For one, we have a young individual named Gal that we might want to look into befriending. So next time on Final Fantasy VI, we're going to be following up on those 2 key pieces of information. So, with that said, I'll see you soon.